How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today I just wanted to talk about why do so many people, or many people, or why does anyone go back onto drinking alcohol after so many years? Same could be asked about people who go back smoking again, I've met more people that go back smoking than drinking, but that's probably just in the line of business that I do. And over the years, I think it's, when people stop drinking and then they go back onto the drinking. In the past, I would have said, yeah, good on you, going back to drinking. But I never understood smoking. And I don't understand drinking now at this stage. So the question is, why do so many people go back to drinking? Or why does anyone go back to drinking after so many years? There's a lot of different reasons, let's face it, there can be a lot of different reasons in individual people, depending on who they are, depending on where they are in their lives, depending on what's happening in their lives. But I think for the most part, it's an idea that, people haven't actually put the alcohol into the past, that they haven't, they don't fully realise that this is a fucking bad toxin that they're putting into their body. I think that's one of the main reasons, is that, just people haven't got over that fact that alcohol has got no value. They still see a value in drinking alcohol. Once you see a value in something, and the years go by, and so the reasons why you quit in the first place dissipate and are sort of lost in your memory, that it's easy to sort of start thinking, well, I can control my drinking. It's one of the main things. Is, I've been off it now for, like, if I was to go back onto it tomorrow and I started reasoning with myself, well, I've been off it for 4 years and now I can control myself now. I'm a person who's found a lot of control in my life. And yeah, I definitely think, I could have a glass of wine with my dinner and not look back, and just think, well, yeah, I can just stick to that. But for myself, I know that where I am in my life, where my head is now, is because I stopped drinking alcohol, right? It's because I no longer poison my brain, right? Because I can think things through a lot better now, because my health is a lot better, and I've pushed myself out to do more active things, healthier things in my life, more constructive things in my life. And I'm not stupid enough to think, well, that I wouldn't lose all that if I stopped drinking. And maybe I wouldn't for the first few months, 6 months maybe. But I know that once I started allowing alcohol back into my life again, that it would only be a matter of time before I would allow just that little bit more. And I would think to myself, well, yeah, I've had one drink now, I might as well, I'll just have another one, This is the nature of a drug. When you drink alcohol, it lowers your inhibitions, it lowers your sense of responsibility for yourself, it lowers all these things about yourself that beforehand, once you take this drug into yourself, it's a drug, it alters your mind, it alters your way of thinking. And you might be cognizant of that in the beginning. You might be fully realizing that, yeah, this is, I'm only going to do this at the weekends, or I'm only going to drink one glass of wine with my dinner, or I'm only going to sort of go in for 1 pint. But eventually that 1 pint will stretch to 2, and that 2 will stretch to 3. And before you know it, you'll just give in to the whole thing, and you'll go, yeah, I want to get pissed again, I want to feel what it's like to get totally smashed. And that's not somewhere where I ever want to be again. It's not somewhere where I'm ever going to be again. I think another reason is that people just haven't changed their relationship with alcohol. For me, alcohol is dead in my life. It's just not something that's going to happen. My life, my whole outlook towards life has changed into something which is, I'm all the time looking for clean living wherever I can, I want to try and find quality foods to put into my mouth, quality drinks. I'm looking to find ways of improving my quality of work, to improve my quality of sleep, to improve my quality of exercise and what I do, and thinking about sort of 10 years down the road or 20 years down the road and what's going to benefit me the most in the future, right? So it's one of the reasons why I'm taking up yoga, is because I think that yoga is not only going to benefit me now, because I feel I'm getting stiff in the joints, but it's definitely going to benefit me in the long run, right? As I get older, you know, you see some of these old guys, old birds, you know, and they're just flexible, and they're able to do things in their later years. I watched a brilliant video about this woman who had this fucking disease, and she was all bent over, you know, she was like this, and she couldn't stand up straight. And this therapeutic yoga teacher took over and started giving her, you know, gradual lessons in yoga, started teaching her how to do some basic movements and stuff, you know. I can't remember the time frame that this happened in, but within a short space of time, she was able to stand up straight. She was able to do some of the most amazing yoga moves, you know. And if you'd have said that these two were the same women, put the two pictures side by side, you'd have said, no, it wasn't the same women at all, you know. But I'm just saying anyway, I'm diverting away from what I'm saying. Alcohol is completely dead to me. It's just something that I'm not going to do anymore, ever. And, you know, that's my changing relationship with alcohol. It doesn't even enter my mind now as a part of, not in my conscious, in my intelligent thinking anyway, you know. It comes in every so often, you know, as a brain fart, as an alcohol memory, you know, but nothing else than that. At other times, people let other people talk them into drinking alcohol again, you know. They let other people sort of go, well, Jesus, you know, one's not going to do you any harm, or I really enjoy my glass of whiskey, you know, I taste this stuff, you know, it's brilliant. Or they allow the bullshit to come back in, the propaganda, you know, the depth and the robustness and the cascady taste of this wine, you know, all that kind of bullshit, you know. They allow that to get back into their heads again, you know. And, you know, they like, for me, it's always about focusing on what's good for me, right? What's good for my life, what's good for the people in my life, right? What's going to create the best quality of life, right? And in order to really make sure that alcohol is dead to me, I've just created so many different areas of my life which preclude alcohol, which, you know, I couldn't drink alcohol again, because I know that all these things will disappear, will gradually diminish over time, but will eventually disappear, and I'll be left back where I was, you know, back drinking myself to death. And there's no fucking way I'm going to do that to myself. You know, one of my biggest reasons for quitting drinking alcohol was because of my son, right? Because I was just afraid of the bad lessons that I was teaching him to do, you know. And for any parent, right? I mean, you know, this I've done this statistic in another video, but if this doesn't scare you, right, that this is the first generation, right, where the children are going to die before the parents because of the stuff that they're stuffing into their mouths, right? Because of the food that they're drinking, because of the Coke and all the other soft shite drinks that they're putting into their mouths, because of the lack of exercise, because of whatever, right? But it's the first generation which is going to die before the parents. And, you know, like, this is a mad world that we're living in, you know? You know, I mean, you know, just look at some of the things that are happening lately. You know, and people put the blame on other people, right? They you know, the election in America was a case in point. It's like, they're saying, well, you know, the reason why Trump was elected was because people want change. And, you know, I can understand that. Clinton offered the same old, right? And, you know, people said, well, you know, like, he's the one that's going to push the button on the nuclear bombs, and other people will say, well, you know, Clinton's more likely to do that, you know. But what I'm saying is that Donald Trump is going to offer change, right? That's a whole definite, right? That's going to happen, right? And, you know, like, I can't stand the man, right? I don't like anything he stands for. Most of the things that he stands for, I don't like, you know, I don't like that kind of, I don't like his personality. I don't like anything about him, mostly, right? But, you know, he does offer change. But from my perspective, most people are looking outside of themselves for change when the only real change comes from in here. It doesn't come from outside. It doesn't come from a political party, right? It doesn't come from a government, right? These are things which are outside of yourself, and if change happens on that level, then all the better, right? All the better for everyone concerned, right? But real change, real personal change, real change in your life is only going to come from you. And it can start immediately. You don't have to wait until January until a new president comes in. You don't have to wait 4 years until the next president comes in, or 10 years until that president comes in. You know, you don't have to wait until the rules are changed so that you can do something different. You can change the rules yourself, your own personal rules, every single day. You know, you can get up today, you can get up after this video and make a change in your life, right? You can get up after this video and say, that's it, period. I'm not going to drink anymore, and I'm never going to drink again. I'm going to focus my mind on the future, on what I can do to improve my life, to improve the quality of my life, and to improve the quality of life for my children. Stop feeding my kids on the verbal, on the psychological diarrhea and the physical diarrhea that we're giving them every day, you know. We can do all these things, but it takes you to do them. You know, you don't need somebody else to change the rules for anything to happen. That's all I'm saying in this. But look, rant. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not even there. So, I mean, you know, as an outsider, I'm sort of scared as an outsider of what's going to happen in the next 4 years because, you know, America's a pretty powerful country, you know. I think there's other countries which are just as powerful. And this is going to stir up a lot of shit, but maybe that shit needs to be stirred up, you know. Maybe it needs to be stirred up just to change the way things are, you know. That, you know, things have been going on that same way for such a long time that, you know, politics in general is just such a dirty business. You know, life in general is going down the dirty thing. I've just watched a program called The Greatest Film Ever Sold, right? Morgan Spurlock, who did Super Size Me, and he just, you know, was talking about the advertising is everywhere, you know, and just the power of marketing. And, you know, now marketers are going in, these big companies are going in and taking brain scans of their subjects, of, you know, their test subjects, and seeing how their brains light up to certain words when they're used in certain situations. You know, and I guarantee you that's the alcohol companies are involved in that, you know, guaranteed. So, look, the only personal power you've got in yourself is within yourself. There's no other way to look at this, you know. You make a choice every day to do something or to do nothing. And if you choose to do nothing, you have nobody else to blame but yourself. You can go out and blame everybody else. You can blame, you know, there's a lot of people right now that are going to, in 4 years' time, they're going to blame Donald Trump for everything, right? Everything that's gone on wrong in their lives, they're going to blame Donald Trump for it. Same as a lot of people blame Barack Obama or would have blamed Hillary Clinton, right? Same thing is happening here in Spain with Rajoy. Same thing is happening in England. Same thing is happening all over the world. There is a certain amount of people who just don't accept personal responsibility for themselves, and they just blame everything on whatever else outside of themselves that they can. But the real responsibility, the real place where you can make changes inside yourself. That's the only place that you can really make real change, you know. You know, if everybody ganged together, right, and decided, right, enough is enough, and instead of having these big divides, you know, the Republicans versus the Democrats, the Conservative versus the Liberals, you know, if everyone ganged together and said, well, we're human beings and we want change, we want to see, you know, progress in our lives, then, you know, we'd make a big impact. We'd make the only impact, you know. The politicians wouldn't be able to do anything. Armies wouldn't be able to stop us, you know. But we don't. But in order for that to happen, people have got to start taking personal responsibility. You know, they've got to start changing on a personal level. So this video started out in a completely different subject, and you know, like a few reasons why people go back to drinking alcohol. But it all boils down to that, is people forget the reasons why they stopped, you know, and people think that they're going to get something out of the alcohol that they're not going to get, you know, that they're never going to get, you know, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, yeah, it's never going to happen to me anyway. So I'll keep making these videos. I'll keep putting myself out there to try and help as many people as I can, you know, but at the end of the day, my responsibility is only to myself. That's the only person I can really do anything about. My responsibility and my choice is to get up every day and not to drink. I don't even think like that anymore. It's my responsibility is to get up every day and to change the quality of my life for the better, to try and improve my life for the better, and to try and improve the lives of my son and my partner and my family and my friends and the people around me, you know, and by making these videos to try and improve the lives of whoever's listening to it. So I really do hope that, you know, I can at least play a small part in your life improvement. And if I can do that, then, you know, job done. You know, it's just, yeah, I love it. So it's a great life. It's a great life. You just have to get up there and own the fucking thing, you know, because if you don't own it, it's gonna own you, you know. If you don't make life your bitch, then life is gonna make you its bitch. I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Till next time, stay safe. Keep the alcohol out of your mouth. Hold on to that responsibility, because, you know, hold on to your choices. They're the things that you've got. They're the things that you've got most control over. What goes on up in here, you know, it's all about that. Onwards and upwards. Onwards and upwards. Moving onwards and upwards. Onwards and upwards, man. Onwards and upwards, woman. Onwards and upwards. Take care.